Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're ranking the best small forwards in NBA 2K25 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if y'all haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day. Tons of consistent daily MyTEAM content. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Let me mix up this list a little bit real quickly, just so that we don't get all the pink diamonds and all the top tier cards here at the very beginning. And hey, I hope y'all are looking forward to this tier list, man. I've been uploading a lot of tier lists, been keeping the content coming pretty consistently, so would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. Let's talk about these guys, starting with Lamar Odom, who is honestly like fine, not great at the small forward position. He's got great size at 6'10", but his stats and badges aren't anything special. He's good. He's got a fine jumper. He's a solid slasher. He's good defensively. Like, he's not a bad card at all, but he's not like a super elite top tier small forward either. I feel like high B, low A is probably the perfect spot for Lamar. I might wind up moving him up a bit as the list progresses. Josh Hart would be higher than B tier if he was taller than 6'4". He's got a great jumper. He's got super complete stats and badges. When you look at the card on paper, he's super duper solid. My problem with Josh Hart is 6'4" is a real size deficiency compared to pretty much every other small forward in my team. I feel like that's a B tier guy because of the height. Scotty Barnes is C tier. He's fine. Like, he's not bad defensively. He's got pretty good badges. He's got a decent jumper, but he's like nothing special in any real area. I don't see anything about Scotty Barnes that is like super elite, super duper good. Again, not a terrible card, but not a top tier beast of a card either by any means is where I would put Scotty Barnes. So I feel like that's a C tier guy. Paul Pierce honestly probably doesn't even deserve to be on this list, to be completely honest with y'all. I don't think he's good at all. He's got a terrible jumper. I'm not even really totally sure why I included him, because his stats and badges aren't great. His jumper is absolutely atrocious. He is D tier, no doubt about it. LeBron is S tier. Best card at the small forward position still, arguably at least. Incredibly complete stats and badges, elite jumper, amazing slasher, gets incredible defensive animations. He's LeBron James. Y'all know he's one of the best cards in the game still. Really, really good option at small forward. Josh Smith, if his jumper was better, he'd be A tier. As is, I think the jumper's kind of mid. It's not as bad as I thought it was, I will say, especially with the stick. It's not horrible, but he's not like an amazingly top tier small forward either, because again, the jumper isn't great. I feel like B tier is probably the perfect spot for him as well. Definitely a solid card, but I don't think I'd put him higher than B tier. Paulo still deserves an S tier spot. He's one of the best small forwards in my team. Super complete, 6'10", gets every badge in the game. Really good jump shot as well. Great slasher, versatile defender, does a ton of things really well. Definitely S tier to me. Steven Jackson, I think he's B tier. He and Josh Hart probably are both, they're the two best cards from yesterday's mic drop set, besides the opal and the pink diamonds anyway. And I mean, he's very good, right? Like, he's got a good release. I like his jumper. He's solidly athletic. He's a decent defender. But another one who's not like great at anything. I feel like you can't put him higher than B tier at this point, to be completely honest. Rui Hachimura is a worse Paulo Banchero. He's still an A tier card, but he's 2 inches shorter than Paulo, and his jumper's a little worse than Paulo's. Outside of that, he's pretty much the same card. Super complete stats and badges, and also a very incredibly complete, especially on the badge side, because he's got 38 base badges. I mean, he gets every badge in the game. He's ridiculously complete. He's a super duper good card. Cedric Maxwell. Cedi would be really, really, really good if he had a higher 3-ball rating, but his 3-ball is a 72. That's pretty low. And he's a great slasher. He's a great defender. He's got good size. He's got all the stuff you want at the small forward position, besides elite level shooting ability. And I mean, you could argue him A tier. I might move him up. I feel like he's the guy I'd put him from B tier and A tier right now, but it's close for sure. Purvis Short, honestly not great. Like, he's not horrible. He's kind of a do-everything card, but he's a do-everything very mediocrely card, mostly. It would be my honest opinion about this Purvis Short card. I don't think he is good enough to be higher than the D tier at this point, to be entirely honest with y'all, and I have no issues putting him there whatsoever. Moving on to Jason Tatum, who is an S tier small forward for sure. Has an argument for best small forward in the game. His shot creation and fade are not top tier, but his release is top tier, his slashing is top tier, his defense is top tier. Super complete stats and badges. He's still a very good card. Definitely S tier. I think Jay's worthy is C tier. I'm not super duper high on him, to be completely honest. His jumper's not incredible, and he's not like the best defender, best anything really. He's good, but he's not amazing. I feel like C tier's probably right. Jaime Jaquez is going to go A tier. 6'6", yes, but amazing defender, super fast jumper, great slasher, really good card. Perfect glue guy small forward. Really, really solid option. J-Dub, I think, is low A as well, actually, because J-Dub has Darius Garland dribble style and an incredible jumper. He is really, really good offensively, and he's a versatile defender as well. Similar to Jaime Jaquez, he's kind of small. He's 6'5", player, but a little bigger. He's like I mean, he's not as complete as Josh Hart, to be totally honest, but I do think he's a little bit better of a card. He's one of those guys that's kind of borderline as well, but I think A tier is the right spot for him. Jay Crowder, by the way, is a stud. Nobody's talking about this card, but he is a really, really good reward card from season 4. I should do a gameplay with him because 86 speed, 92 3 ball, not the best slasher, but a really good defender as well. And his jumper is absolutely top tier. Really, really good shot. You combine an elite shot with actually semi-decent movement and really good defense. And you get a guy who I actually think can be argued as an A tier small forward. He's really, really solid. Jamal Mashburn is like fine all the way around, but his jumper's not incredible. He's just not super special at anything. I feel like C tier is the perfect spot for him. He's not like a great card, but he's not bad either. Kevin Durant, going to go A tier for me. I don't think KD is S tier. I understand he's a really, really popular card. I just don't think he's that great. He's very good. He's 6'10". He's got pretty complete stats and badges, but he's not like a top tier defender. His SIGs aren't incredible. I think A tier is the right spot for KD. I think he's good. I don't think he's quite amazing though. Gonna put Draymond in A tier as well, to be totally honest. I think he's a great defender, really, really good defender. And honestly, his jumper's not as bad as you think. He's decently athletic. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. Not a bad card at all. That domination is totally worth completing, especially for the MT. But at the same time, I think Draymond can't really go higher than A tier still right now. Just my opinion. I think you could make an argument for him S tier if you wanted to because of the defense, but it's not an argument that I personally would make, I don't believe. Next, we have Harrison Barnes, who is... I think Harrison is B tier. The thing about this Harrison Barnes card is he's got amazing jumper, but he's not an elite defender. His stats and badges are not incredibly complete. I mean, he's a great slasher, really good shooter, good speed, and a solid defender, but the badges could be better across the board. If he's fully badged, maybe he's A tier. For now, I think we're going to leave him in the B tier. Michael Porter Jr., elite shooter, not elite at anything else, to be totally honest. Not an exceptional defender, not a great shot creator. I feel like C tier is the right spot for him. I don't think he's bad, but I think I'd take everybody above him over him for sure. Andre Kirilenko is an amazing defender with a super fast jumper. He doesn't do much else, though. He's literally just a 3-and-D and nothing else, but he's a very, very good card. Don't get that twisted. Really, really good option for sure at the small forward position still, at least as a 3-and-D. So I feel like he's B tier as well. I'm going to put Brandon Ingram in C tier, but I almost want to put him in D tier. I get that he's a pink diamond. He's a new card. I don't think very many people have used this card. The honest truth is his jumper's bad. He's a terrible defender. I mean, his jumper's not that good, to be totally honest. It's not horrible, I guess. He's got a good escape, good dribble style, which does help offensively, but the jumper's not great, and the defense is really, really poor. I'm putting him in D tier. I'm not going to lie. We need a few D tier guys. I only see one other guy on this list that I think is actually D tier. I know Brandon Ingram. People are going to be like, wow, that's pink diamond in D tier. I don't think he's good, to be totally honest. Kawhi is S tier, right there with LeBron, JT, guys like that for best small forward in the game. Really good jumper, really decent SIGs as well, which is super nice about Kawhi, and he is a great slasher and obviously an exceptional defender. One of the more complete small forwards in my team. Got no issues at all with him in S tier. Chuck Person, fast jumper, good size, not bad defensively. Not a liability of a card by any means at the small forward position, but I don't think he's great either. He doesn't have a ton of shot creation. His stats and badges aren't next level at all. Super fine card, but not great. I feel like C tier is the right spot for him. Danny Granger. I'm giving Danny Granger the last S tier spot. I am. I think his jumper's amazing. I think his movement's pretty good. I think his defense is more than holds its own. He's one of the best shooters on this list for sure. And he's got everything else you need to. Got the size, got the defense, got the slashing. He is a top tier small forward. I got no issues whatsoever with him in the S tier. Tony Kukoc stinks, 6'11", slow. I mean, the height is great, but everything else really isn't. His jumper's not quite as good this year. Defensively, he's pretty mid, and he's not super athletic either. He's an okay card, but he's not great at all. And on a list this good, I feel like he's got to go D tier. He's one of the worst cards in this list. OG Anunoby is A tier, really good defender, fast jumper, great slasher. Another one of those guys who kind of does everything you need. Very similar to Jaime Jaquez Jr. in a lot of ways, honestly. I think he's definitely an A tier small forward. Got no issues with that at all. And then you got Larry Legend, who I believe is also going to go low A tier. Now, the thing about Larry, the stats and badges are amazing. He's super complete, kind of like Paulo and Rui, but his jumper is pretty bad. And his SIGs aren't great either. And I feel like he's fine. Like, he's good enough to go A tier still, but I just don't love the jumper. Everything else is amazing, but it's just not quite good enough, in my personal opinion, at least, to put him any higher than the A tier. And I think low A tier, in all honesty, is probably the right spot for Mr. Larry. So with that being said, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.